Hello guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be going over how to build out an entire cold email system using Claude Code. We're going to focus from A to Z how to piece together a cold email sequence to get you guys actual results. And I'm going to show you how you can use Claude and a few other softwares to actually book meetings for your agency as well. Just a quick introduction, if you don't know who I am, my name's George Kane. I've been running my two companies, Booked and Ahead with AI, for the past 3 years. We specialize in booking B2B meetings using our AI SDR and also fixing manual bottlenecks in automation and helping business owners to free up their time. There's going to be links in the top line of the description if you would like to check out a little bit more information on either of them. And with all that being said, guys, let's get into actually building out these two different systems. Okay, so with all of that being said, before we get into it, you guys have a few different options for what you can do. So the first option is we've got tons of students that we've now built out successful cold email systems for. So you can see Sam was able to crack his first 2K, Richie 4K in 4 days, and we've got a bunch of other people getting massive PIVs this month, all coming from cold email systems. One other thing to mention is that inside of my free community AI campus, we have a bunch of educational resources on how you can actually set up a good cold email sequence. Now with that all out of the way, let's get into what you guys have actually come for and how to set up a cold email sequence from scratch, starting off with the DNS setup. Now I'm going to shoot over DNS as quickly as possible, to be honest, because it's really fucking boring, but there's a few things that you need to know about DNS, and you also need to make sure that you've done this properly the first time round, otherwise you're not going to get any results. DNS is the building blocks that make up our entire system. If you haven't set up your DNS properly in the first instance, you're never going to get the results that you're looking for. And it is absolutely vital to any good cold email system. There's a few things that you need to think about for DNS that a lot of people don't do correctly. And one of them is to set up your DNS records correctly. Inside of your DNS provider, I'll use Namecheap personally, you're going to see an option to set up a DMARC, a DKIM, and all of the rest of the records. You need to make sure that you do this properly and everything's verified, otherwise you're going to get absolutely shit results. On top of that, I would make sure that everything's warming up for 2 weeks, and you can do this using your email sender. And then on top of that, we rotate our mailboxes once a week. It's a bit extra. You don't really need to rotate it once a week, but make sure you're trying to do it at least fortnightly. And that just makes sure that we're sending out from fresh domains that haven't been burnt out. A few other prerequisites with DNS. We only do B2B email, so we don't touch B2C email. There's a bunch of compliance issues with B2C email that we just don't looking to get into, and because of that we only do B2B. And one other thing is, ideally you guys need to be sending out at least 500 emails a day to actually get the traction that you're gonna need to get results like this. The next thing that we're gonna actually go over is a little bit more interesting, and that is how you set up your lead scraping and your targeting as well. This is really where we're going to start to use Claude to have things done automatically, and this is really the key change that has been made in the past sort of 3-4 years on how people do cold email. You don't need to do everything manually nowadays, and I'm going to show you guys now how we link Claude and a good scraper, Apify, to actually go ahead and scrape all of our leads automatically. Perfect. So now what I've done is I've just jumped inside of my Claude account. Now again, a few things to mention. Ideally you want to be set up on a minimum pro account, which is $20 per month. What you're going to do after you do that is you're going to come across to Claude Code, and you're just going to hit this little plus icon. You're going to come down to connectors, and what we're going to do is browse connectors. What you're going to do now is come into the connectors library, and you're going to search for Apify. You're going to come across and make sure you've got the actual Apify one, and you're going to hit install. Just go ahead and install that onto Claude Desktop, and in a second it's going to ask me for my API key. Whilst this is doing its thing, let's go ahead and show how you guys get your API key as well. So to actually get your Apify API key, you're going to come across to apify.com. Once we're inside of apify.com, you'll be able to see that this is basically a massive library for scrapers. So it's going to allow us to scrape from Indeed, LinkedIn, we've got Google Jobs, there's scrapers on TikTok, Instagram, anything that you need to scrape, Apify is going to be a really good software to do so, and it's one of the tools that I recommend for anybody starting out and building out a scraping automation. Once you're inside of Apify, really easy, just come down to the settings. Once you're inside of here, go to your API and integrations and just copy this personal API token. Once you've got this API token, you're going to come back into Claude and you're just going to paste it here. As far as the enabled tools, just leave that as it is right now and hit save. What's going to happen now is we're going to just enable this and we're going to hit configure. By configuring this, all we're going to do is give it the ability to actually go through and do these things automatically without always needing approval or blocking anything. So just go through and change these to always approve. And once you've done that, we're good to go with Apify and we're ready to actually start scraping leads using Claude. Okay, perfect. So we are now inside of Claude, and what I've done is I've just gone ahead and I've restarted it. What we can start to do now is give Claude prompts, and it's going to actually speak to Apify and run the scrapers that we needed to run by itself. Now the advantage of this is you don't have to worry about setting up HTTP calls, you don't have to worry about setting up custom API calls, and you can do it all through this Claude terminal as well. I've gone ahead and I've asked Claude to give me 5 accountancy firms in London, get the senior person's email address and any other relevant information. We're just going to ask it to compile this into a sheet for me. Perfect. So now if we go ahead and actually run this, if we shoot back into Apify now, we will be able to see that it's going to be calling the scrapers and it's going to have set everything up on its side the way that it needs to automatically. Okay, perfect. So as we can see, it's actually gone ahead and scraped using Apify. So if we open this up, we can see that it's searched for the correct actor and it's going ahead and getting the dataset items, which just essentially means it's compiling all of the results. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a minute to run, and once it's run, I'm going to come back and show you guys the actual result of the scrape. Okay, perfect. So what you can see we now have is the firm's name, the senior contact, the job title, the email address, check that it's verified. We have their phone number, the firm's phone number, and their address, their website, their LinkedIn profile, etc. So now that we've actually gone ahead and scraped all of these leads, what would the next step be? Would be to actually write an email and write the copy that we're going to send to them. We've showed so far that we can get our DNS set up properly. We know how to scrape leads using Apify and Claude Code, and the best thing to now do is talk about how to actually write good email copy that's going to convert and get you meetings booked into the calendar. Okay, so when we talk about email copy, there's a few things that I like to think about that are going to have a massive impact on whether you get good results, bad results, or whatever. One of the things that we need to think about when we're writing email copy is actually what's in it for the person that's responding. So think about these business owners that we've just scraped using Apify. They are likely receiving hundreds, if not thousands, of shite outreach messages every single day, and you need to be doing something to actually cut through that noise. And a way that I like to think about it is give them a reason to respond to you. If you received the email that you sent to them, would you actually respond to it? Probably not. So we need to think about a reason that they would have to respond to our email, what they get out of it, and I'm going to show you the best way to structure an email around that, and on top of that, what I would avoid doing. So first off, this is an email that I've written, which is absolutely terrible. I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to reach out because I know this company name is whatever. Now, one thing that's worth noting is nowadays everybody seems to think that the best way to do things is to have 15 different personalization variables that you've got from Claude and to make everything super specific to that person. I personally disagree with that. I think it's extremely obvious that you haven't gone ahead and researched these companies, and whenever you're actually sending out 500, 1,000, 2,000 emails a day, it's going to be extremely obvious that you've done no research on these companies, because the truth of the matter is you haven't. An email that I would definitely not write would be this: I saw a case study which is incredible, wow. Anyway, my name is George and I represent a leading provider of innovative AI-powered development solutions, yada yada yada. Now, the issues with this email itself, it's very clunky. There's absolutely nothing in it for them. We've not even mentioned them or what it is that they do. We've basically just spoken about ourselves. We've not referenced any results that we have, and we've given them absolutely no reason to respond to us. On top of that, we filled this email with a bunch of shite. The email footer: founder, CEO, AI sales solution, growth hacker. If anybody can tell me what growth hacker means, I would love to hear about it. And what I've gone ahead and done is created an example of a better email that we actually send right now. So, hi first name, random, which is just the syntax for instantly. Syntax means that every time it's hello first name, it's gonna then choose came across, saw, or found to continue the email on. It's then gonna say came across, saw, found, company name, and company highlight, which is just something that we scrape from their website, which is impressive that they've done. Also saw case study. Nope, no, I didn't. I targeted you. I just wanted to show you the personalization variables that we can generate at scale. Too long, didn't read. We've built Booked, which is our AI SDR platform, and we've booked 3,000 meetings, and we've booked meetings with companies valued over 300 million. Want proof? I'll show you your next free clients for free, and then I'll show you the exact outreach message that we would send to them. Now, a few things to mention in this email. We've given it brief on what they do. We've barely talked about ourselves. All we've done is we've just filled it with results to give us credibility. And on top of that, we've given them a concrete reason to actually reply to this email. We've given them a lead magnet to go ahead and respond to, and a nice little soft CTA, reply, send it, and I'll have them both over to you today. Gives them a reason to respond to the email. They reply, send it, and we show them their next clients. Why would anybody not want that? Okay, so the last piece of the puzzle is actually going to be following up to these leads that have come through instantly. All being well, you've set up your DNS correctly, you've scraped your leads using Apify and Claude, you've written engaging copy, and we're now on to the follow-up, meaning you've had some positive responses come back. Now, Harvard did a study which showed that companies responding to inquiries within 5 minutes are 100 times more likely to connect with that lead than if you wait only half an hour. After 5 minutes of a lead giving a positive response back to you, the chances of you converting them are lower by 400%, and it's also been found that 78% of buyers purchase from the first responder, meaning the first person that gets back in contact with them after they express interest. Whenever you're doing follow-ups coming from emails, we want to be doing it as quickly as possible, ideally instantly, and the way that we actually do that is using our email provider, which is Instantly.ai AI. Gives us the ability to set up AI follow-up agents, which we then go ahead and use to respond to any inquiries straight off the bat. Now, I hope this video was useful. A few things to mention are we have AI Campus right now, which is running for free. We have 70 people in there right now, and once we hit 90, we're going to be releasing our 2 weekly calls. In the meantime, you guys can go ahead in there and you can grab educational resources on how to set up cold email sequences, how to use Claude Code in a little bit more depth as well. On top of that, if you want us to actually build out an email system for you, done for you, just check the links in my bio. And if there's any other things that you guys would like me to cover in a YouTube video, just drop it in the comments. Cheers, guys.